Darci Lynne Farmer was a young girl from Oklahoma who captivated the hearts of millions through her extraordinary talent. Born on October 12, 2004 in Oklahoma City, she was a quiet and introspective child, polite yet deeply thoughtful. From an early age, Darci found joy in music, singing around the house and performing for her family. However, she was painfully shy and terrified of standing in front of crowds, a fear that could prevent her from ever sharing her remarkable voice with the world. Everything changed when she discovered ventriloquism at the age of 10. This old art form gave her a way to express herself without directly confronting her fears. By hiding behind puppets, Darci could communicate in a unique, entertaining, and compelling way that captivated audiences. Inspired by performers like Terry Fedor, a previous America's Got Talent winner, Darci found the courage to pursue her dreams. With the support of her parents, Clark and Misty Farmer, she began rigorous training under young ventriloquist Lisa Bonaquisti, who taught her the techniques of timing, tone, and stage presence. Through years of dedication, Darci transformed her initial nervousness into confidence, practicing for hours in front of mirrors, perfecting her puppetry, her singing, and her overall performance skills. Her first significant recognition came in 2014 when she entered the International Cinderella Scholarship Program and won the Mini Miss title. This milestone encouraged her to perform at local talent shows and fairs, dazzling audiences with the rare combination of powerful singing and ventriloquism. 2 years later, her performance on Little Big Shots, singing "I Want to Be a Cowboy's Sweetheart" with her puppet Katie, went viral and brought her national attention. Suddenly, the shy girl from Oklahoma became the talk of morning shows, media outlets, and talent scouts, and her parents decided to homeschool her to manage her rapidly growing schedule. Her dedication, talent, and humility captured hearts across the country, and she seemed destined for stardom. In 2017, Darci Lynne Farmer auditioned for America's Got Talent Season 12 with her rabbit puppet, Petunia, performing the song Summertime. The performance was magical, leaving judges and audiences alike speechless. Within hours, the video became the most watched audition in the show's history. Mel B hit the golden buzzer, propelling Darci straight to the live shows, while Simon Cowell praised her as a once-in-a-generation talent. Her win that September made her the youngest star in AGT history and cemented her position as America's newest sweetheart. Overnight, she became one of the most recognizable young performers in the country, receiving invitations to headline tours, appear on major television shows, and participate in holiday specials. The whirlwind of fame was breathtaking. Darci toured extensively with Darci Lynne and Friends Live, starting with a small series of regional shows and expanding to over 50 cities. Fans lined up outside theaters and media outlets hailed her as a symbol of wholesome, extraordinary talent. She performed at iconic venues, including the Grand Ole Opry and Rockefeller Center, and even shared stages with stars like Pentatonix, Toby Keith, and Kristen Chenoweth during NBC's holiday special, Darci Lynne, My Hometown Christmas. At only 13, Darci's life transformed entirely. Her childhood had shifted into the spotlight, and while the applause was thrilling, it also brought new pressures, responsibilities, and scrutiny. Every part of her performance, appearance, and even her puppet dialogue was monitored and controlled by the show's production team. She was navigating adult schedules, adult expectations, and the constant public gaze, all while trying to maintain the innocence and joy that had originally defined her performances. The contrast between her on-stage confidence and behind-the-scenes challenges would foreshadow the deeper struggles she would face in years to come. While the world saw Darci Lynne Farmer as a joyful, talented, and polite young star, behind the curtain, her life was far from simple. Despite her success, she struggled to balance schoolwork, performances, interviews, and tours. She memorized routines on airplanes, completed assignments between interviews, and always maintained a cheerful demeanor, even when exhausted. Every element of her appearance, including hair, clothes, tone of voice, and puppet dialogue, was monitored and approved, leaving her little room for creative freedom. Her early relationship with judges shifted over time. Simon Cowell continued to publicly praise her talent, but Mel B, who had once championed her golden buzzer performance, reportedly grew distant, offering critiques and producing an environment of subtle tension. Moments that appeared lighthearted on camera sometimes concealed stress and emotional strain. Insider accounts describe instances when Darci, speaking through her puppet, expressed frustrations that went unnoticed by the audience but were deeply felt by her behind the scenes. By the time she reached her late teens, Darci was grappling not only with the pressures of fame, but also with a growing sense of invisibility on the very stage that had launched her career. Attempts to discuss her creative direction were sometimes dismissed or met with ridicule. What had once been a place of joy and self-expression began to feel like a cage, restricting her voice, her choices, and her individuality. These hidden pressures, combined with the intense scrutiny and constant expectation to perform, contributed to a slow accumulation of emotional distress that would eventually lead to a breaking point. After years of suppressing her feelings and prioritizing the expectations of producers, judges, and audiences, Darci reached a moment where she felt compelled to take action. By early 2024, she confided in friends about feeling used, overlooked, and denied the opportunity to develop as an independent artist. She longed to write her own songs, explore her musical identity, and be recognized as more than a ventriloquist tied to childhood fame. Yet every attempt to voice her opinions and advocate for herself reportedly led to criticism and discouragement from key figures she had once trusted and admired. The decision to file a lawsuit was not made lightly. It followed years of quiet frustration, canceled meetings, denied creative input, and persistent reminders to conform to expectations. In 2024, Darci's legal team submitted a formal complaint citing emotional distress and professional misconduct, while the judge involved was not publicly named. Insider reports suggested that the person was someone Darci had respected and looked up to in the past. The claims included verbal harassment, intimidation, and attempts to interfere with her career. For many fans, the news of Darci Lynne Farmer suing one of AGT's most powerful figures was shocking. Yet for those who had followed her journey closely, it reflected the difficult realities faced by child stars navigating high-pressure entertainment environments. Darci's lawsuit marked a pivotal moment not just in her life, but in a broader conversation about accountability, respect, and the treatment of young performers in reality television. Darci Lynne's lawsuit did not occur in isolation. Over the years, several performers and crew members had raised concerns about working conditions, emotional exploitation, and safety on America's Got Talent. In 2021, stunt performer Jonathan Goodwin experienced a life-threatening accident during rehearsals for AGT Extreme, resulting in catastrophic injuries, including permanent paralysis from the waist down. In 2022, he filed a lawsuit against the show, accusing it of gross negligence and insufficient safety measures. Similarly, in other cases, young contestants and their families raised allegations of mistreatment and emotional harm, including verbal abuse and lack of support. These incidents highlighted systemic issues behind the glamorous image of the show and fueled discussions about accountability, workplace safety, and the well-being of performers. Darci's case became part of this larger context, shining a spotlight on the experiences of young talent whose dreams were intertwined with complex pressures, expectations, and sometimes exploitative environments. The combination of these prior incidents in Darci's lawsuit underscored a growing awareness that reality television, while entertaining, often carries hidden risks for those who participate, particularly minors. When news of Darci Lynne's legal action broke in mid-2024, the entertainment world reacted with surprise, debate, and intense media scrutiny. Tabloids, fan forums, and social media channels buzzed with speculation, while the show's producers and NBC released statements denying any wrongdoing and emphasizing their commitment to safety and performer well-being. Insiders described the network as being deeply concerned about potential repercussions, including the possibility of other performers coming forward with similar complaints. Public opinion was divided. Some applauded Darci for standing up to a powerful institution, portraying her actions as a courageous step toward reclaiming personal agency. Others criticized her for perceived ingratitude, questioning whether a young star should challenge the very platform that had given her fame. Despite the divided reactions, Darci remained focused on her own growth, withdrawing from social media, limiting interviews, and performing quietly in small venues. This period allowed her to regain her sense of self, reflect on her journey, and cultivate her artistry outside the pressures of large-scale fame. Following her decision to step away from the spotlight, Darci concentrated on her music and personal expression. She returned to small-town theaters across Oklahoma, performing with minimal production and a guitar instead of puppets. These performances were intimate, allowing her to connect directly with audiences while reclaiming creative control. The puppets that had once been central to her identity were placed in storage, symbolizing a transition from childhood performance to authentic artistry. Darci began writing her own songs, exploring themes such as personal freedom, pressure, identity, and control. One unreleased track, reportedly titled Push Our Luck, reflected her experience performing without puppets for the first time and highlighted her desire to challenge expectations and express herself on her own terms. Critics and former contestants privately recognized the significance of her work, viewing it as a statement against rigid creative constraints and a declaration of independence for young performers navigating the entertainment industry. Darci Lynne Farmer's lawsuit evolved beyond a personal grievance to become a broader commentary on the entertainment industry. Her decision to speak out represented the struggles faced by young talent across reality television, illustrating how the pursuit of fame can intersect with emotional and professional exploitation. For many observers, her journey offered insight into the hidden realities behind televised spectacle, prompting questions about the responsibility of producers, the protection of minors, and the ethics of talent-driven entertainment. Darci's story highlighted that success, while celebrated publicly, often conceals complex pressures and vulnerabilities. By asserting her voice, she challenged established norms and encouraged other performers to advocate for themselves. The narrative of Darci Lynne became a mirror for the industry, revealing the tension between spectacle and humanity, performance and well-being, and childhood innocence and adult demands. The trajectory of Darci Lynne Farmer's career offers lessons not only for performers, but also for audiences, producers, and policymakers. It demonstrates the importance of prioritizing the emotional and creative well-being of young artists, ensuring that recognition and fame do not come at the cost of health or autonomy. Darci's experience underscores that child stars are more than commodities or entertainment vehicles. They are individuals navigating complex challenges under intense public scrutiny. Furthermore, her legal action emphasizes that questioning authority or advocating for oneself is not a betrayal, but an essential step toward personal growth and accountability. Her story also invites viewers to reconsider their expectations of reality television and the responsibility of audiences in supporting ethical treatment of performers. By 2025, Darci Lynne Farmer continued performing under her real name, free from the constraints of her childhood persona and the spectacle of large productions. She focused on songwriting, intimate performances, and reconnecting with the joy of music that initially inspired her. The lawsuit remained ongoing, but the impact of her actions extended beyond legal outcomes. Darci had reclaimed her narrative, her creativity, and her voice, becoming a figure of empowerment for young artists navigating high-pressure industries. Her journey is a testament to resilience, self-discovery, and the courage to confront powerful systems. Whether or not her legal battle concludes in her favor, Darci's story has already sparked important conversations about fairness, safety, and respect in entertainment, inspiring others to speak up and advocate for themselves. Darci's journey illustrates the bittersweet realities of fame. While she brought joy, laughter, and wonder to millions, she also endured pressures that challenged her sense of identity. Fame often masks vulnerability, and reality television, despite its glamour, frequently exposes participants to stress, emotional strain, and loss of autonomy. Darci's story highlights the importance of supporting young talent, respecting creative boundaries, and valuing the person behind the performance. In reclaiming her voice, she demonstrated that authenticity and courage matter more than accolades, proving that the most meaningful victories are not always measured in trophies or headlines, but in personal growth, resilience, and self-respect. Darci Lynne Farmer's story is ultimately one of courage, perseverance, and the pursuit of personal truth. From a shy girl hiding behind puppets to a young woman taking legal action against a powerful institution, she exemplifies the transformative power of finding one's voice. Her lawsuit is more than a personal battle. It is a symbol of accountability and advocacy for young performers everywhere. Darci's journey encourages reflection on the cost of fame, the responsibilities of the entertainment industry, and the importance of supporting artists as individuals, not just entertainers. Through her resilience and determination, Darci Lynne Farmer continues to inspire audiences, proving that the greatest triumph is reclaiming your own voice and using it to define your own path. Darci Lynne Farmer's journey from a shy, small-town girl to a nationally celebrated performer on America's Got Talent is nothing short of extraordinary. But behind the glitz, glamour, and applause lay immense challenges that few ever saw. Born in Oklahoma City in 2004, Darci's early years were marked by quiet curiosity and a love for music. Yet her natural shyness made public performance a daunting prospect. Singing in front of crowds terrified her, and she often preferred performing for her family, where she could explore her talent without judgment. The discovery of ventriloquism at age 10 became a turning point in her young life. This art gave Darci a unique voice and allowed her to hide behind her puppets while still captivating audiences with her singing. By observing legendary ventriloquists and practicing relentlessly under the guidance of mentor Lisa Bonaquisti, she transformed her nervous energy into refined stage presence, learning to control tone, timing, and expression while performing. What began as a personal coping mechanism quickly evolved into a tool that would propel her to national recognition. By 2014, Darci's participation in the Cinderella Scholarship Program, where she won the Mini Miss title, marked the first of many public validations of her extraordinary skill. Over the next 2 years, her performances at local talent shows, fairs, and the nationally televised Little Big Shots brought her viral attention, demonstrating that a small girl with a puppet could produce a voice that resonated far beyond her age. As her popularity grew, her parents made the difficult decision to homeschool her, allowing Darci to manage her growing commitments to appearances, rehearsals, and competitions. This period was marked by incredible dedication and sacrifice. Darci practiced for hours daily, perfecting the delicate coordination of singing, ventriloquism, and stage presence. Every movement of her lips, every inflection in her voice, and even her puppet's gestures were meticulously rehearsed. Her talent and discipline eventually culminated in a life-changing audition for America's Got Talent in 2017. Singing Summertime with her rabbit puppet, Petunia, she left judges and audiences stunned. The golden buzzer from Mel B and Simon Cowell's praise as a once-in-a-generation talent catapulted her from local fame to national stardom almost overnight. Winning AGT at such a young age brought accolades, tours, media attention, and countless opportunities, but also introduced Darci to the intense, unrelenting pressures of fame. Behind the cameras, she was expected to maintain a perfect image while juggling schoolwork, interviews, performances, and tours. Her every word, gesture, and puppet movement was scrutinized and controlled by the production team, leaving little room for personal expression. Relationships that once felt supportive, particularly with judges, shifted over time. While Simon Cowell continued to praise her publicly, others became distant or critical, contributing to subtle but persistent emotional strain. Moments of lighthearted humor, such as witty remarks through her puppets, often masked deeper frustration and a growing sense of invisibility. Darci, who had once felt safe expressing herself through puppetry, began experiencing limitations on her creativity and autonomy. By the time she reached her late teens, her desire to evolve as an artist, writing her own songs, performing solo, and stepping beyond her childhood persona, was met with resistance, ridicule, or outright dismissal from those she once admired. The contrast between her outward success and inner struggle became increasingly stark. It was this tension, the conflict between public adoration and private dissatisfaction, that set the stage for a pivotal decision in her life. The pressures of fame, creative suppression, and constant scrutiny, compounded by the expectations to maintain a cheerful demeanor despite exhaustion, eventually led Darci to take a bold and unprecedented step, filing a lawsuit in 2024 against a judge she had once respected, citing emotional distress, harassment, and interference with her career. This lawsuit, while shocking to the public, was a culmination of years of silent struggle, frustration, and courage. It represented a young woman's determination to reclaim her voice and assert her autonomy after years of being told to conform, to smile, and to remain in the shadows of others' expectations. Darci Lynne Farmer's story illustrates the complex realities of child stardom, revealing that behind every golden buzzer, every viral video, and every standing ovation, there may lie hidden pressures, emotional strain, and battles that the audience never sees. Her journey highlights the delicate balance between talent, ambition, and personal well-being, emphasizing that the greatest victories are not always measured in trophies or headlines, but in the courage to speak up, define one's identity, and reclaim control over one's own life and artistry, BY early 2024, after years of frustration, creative suppression, and emotional strain. Darci Lynne Farmer made the life-changing decision to take legal action against a powerful figure associated with America's Got Talent. The lawsuit cited emotional distress, verbal harassment, intimidation, and interference with her career, exposing the hidden pressures and exploitative environment behind the show's glamorous facade. While the judge involved was not publicly named, insiders indicated it was someone Darci had once deeply respected, a mentor-turned-opponent. The news sent shockwaves through fans, media, and the entertainment industry, sparking debates across social media, talk shows, and fan forums. For many, it was hard to reconcile the image of the sweet, polite, puppet-wielding girl with that of a young woman confronting a massive media institution in court. However, those who had followed Darci's journey closely understood that this lawsuit was not an impulsive act of rebellion, but a courageous stand against years of being silenced, manipulated, and denied agency over her own talent and career. Darci's case also revealed a broader, more disturbing pattern within AGT and reality television in general. Over the years, numerous contestants, young and old, had come forward with concerns about emotional exploitation, unsafe working conditions, and creative restrictions. In 2021, stunt performer Jonathan Goodwin suffered a catastrophic accident during rehearsals for AGT Extreme, resulting in third-degree burns, broken bones, and permanent paralysis from the waist down. His lawsuit against the show alleged negligence, insufficient safety protocols, and a prioritization of spectacle over human life. Similarly, in other high-profile cases, families of young contestants accuse hosts and production staff of verbal abuse, intimidation, and physical mistreatment. Even incidents involving accessibility failures, like the tragic death of a 79-year-old wheelchair user whose injury was linked to blocked access ramps at a filming location, painted a picture of systemic neglect. Against this backdrop, Darci's lawsuit gained significance beyond her personal grievances. It became a symbol of accountability, raising important questions about the treatment of young talent and the ethical responsibilities of entertainment institutions. Public reaction was intense and divided. Supporters praised her bravery, emphasizing that standing up to a powerful entertainment machine required incredible courage and integrity. Critics, however, accused her of ingratitude, suggesting she owed her career to AGT and should be careful about challenging those who gave her fame. Amid the media storm, Darci withdrew from interviews, social media, and the public eye, choosing instead to focus on personal reflection, creative growth, and small, intimate performances in her home state of Oklahoma. Performing in local theaters with just a guitar and songs she wrote herself, she began reclaiming her voice, not through a puppet or scripted performance, but through authentic self-expression. The public spectacle of her lawsuit was therefore juxtaposed with a quiet, personal journey of artistic reclamation. Darci's story highlighted the difficult truth behind fame, that applause, recognition, and viral moments often come at a hidden cost. It showed that child stars, despite the smiles, accolades, and trophies, can experience profound emotional strain, creative suppression, and the need to assert their independence. By taking legal action, Darci Lynne Farmer not only sought justice for herself, but also drew attention to systemic issues within the industry, inspiring conversations about accountability, safety, and the rights of young performers. Her lawsuit became a touchstone, encouraging other performers and families to reflect on the balance between opportunity and exploitation in the entertainment world. Ultimately, Darci's battle was not only about personal vindication. It was a public statement that young talent deserves respect, protection, and the freedom to define their own careers without fear of intimidation or career sabotage. It marked a turning point in her life, transforming her from a celebrated child star into a symbol of courage, resilience, and the ongoing struggle for creative autonomy in an industry that often prioritizes spectacle over humanity. After filing the lawsuit and stepping back from the glare of national media, Darci Lynne Farmer began a new chapter in her life, one defined not by fame, ratings, or applause, but by personal expression, growth, and artistic freedom. No longer performing with her puppets, she returned to small-town theaters across Oklahoma, bringing her guitar, her songs, and her story directly to audiences who could appreciate her talent without the pressures of spectacle. These intimate performances allowed her to reconnect with the joy of music that had originally inspired her as a child, offering a sense of liberation from the tightly controlled, high-stakes environment of America's Got Talent. In these spaces, Darci could write and perform songs about identity, pressure, resilience, and freedom, emotions and experiences she had navigated silently for years. One unreleased track, reportedly titled Push Our Luck, reflected her first solo performance without puppets, symbolizing her quiet rebellion against the expectations that had constrained her creative voice for so long. Writing her own music became a form of therapy and self-affirmation, a way to process the challenges she faced as a young performer and advocate for herself. Former contestants, industry insiders, and fans who followed her journey began to recognize Darci's courage, praising her for standing up against a powerful entertainment machine and reclaiming her narrative. Her story sparked conversations about the treatment of young talent in reality television, the ethics of long-term contracts, creative control, and the responsibility of producers to protect performers' emotional well-being. More than just a personal victory, Darci's journey illustrated that the pressures of fame can obscure the human experiences behind viral moments, golden buzzers, and television ratings. Audiences often see only the final performance or the applause, rarely understanding the emotional labor, exhaustion, and sacrifice that come with success at a young age. Darci's choice to step away from mainstream media and reconnect with authentic performance was a radical statement. She prioritized her well-being and artistic integrity over widespread recognition. The reaction from the public was mixed but revealing. Supporters celebrated her bravery, seeing her actions as a reflection of integrity and resilience. Critics questioned her gratitude, suggesting that she owed her success to AGT, but these voices were increasingly overshadowed by those who recognized the importance of autonomy and personal growth. Beyond the immediate public debate, Darci's journey became an educational example for young performers, parents, and industry professionals alike, emphasizing that talent alone does not shield one from emotional strain or exploitation. Her story demonstrates that true success is not measured solely in trophies, tours, or media coverage, but in the ability to maintain authenticity, assert boundaries, and develop a sustainable, fulfilling creative life. By reclaiming her voice, Darci also redefined the meaning of performance itself. No longer performing to meet expectations or fit a predefined mold, she embraced vulnerability, honesty, and personal storytelling, connecting with audiences in ways that spectacle and viral fame could never replicate. Through these intimate performances, she illustrated that artistry is not about perfection or approval. It is about expression, growth, and the courage to confront one's experiences openly. Her return to music, stripped of puppets and grand production, was therefore not a step back, but a powerful affirmation of her identity, creativity, and resilience. Darci Lynne Farmer's journey teaches profound lessons about fame, identity, and self-advocacy. It shows that recognition and applause, while rewarding, are never substitutes for personal well-being and creative freedom. By standing up for herself, pursuing her music, and speaking her truth, Darci became a symbol for young artists everywhere, demonstrating that the most meaningful victories come from authenticity, courage, and the unwavering commitment to one's own voice. Her story is a reminder that behind every public performance lies a human being navigating complex challenges, and that real strength is measured not by accolades, but by the ability to confront adversity and reclaim control over one's life and artistry. Darci Lynne Farmer's story has evolved far beyond the tale of a talented child ventriloquist who captivated America with a puppet and a song. It has become a symbol of courage, self-advocacy, and systemic reflection within the entertainment industry. As her lawsuit and public narrative gained attention, they ignited conversations about how reality television programs, particularly those featuring minors, balance spectacle with the safety, well-being, and creative freedom of their performers. Industry insiders and former contestants praised Darci for shedding light on practices that often remain hidden behind cameras and scripted moments, from rigorous schedules and strict control over creative expression to subtle emotional manipulation and unrealistic expectations. Her actions prompted not only public discourse, but also a deeper examination within the industry itself, encouraging producers, mentors, and talent agencies to reconsider the structures and environments in which young artists are nurtured or exploited. The impact of Darci's story is multidimensional. For aspiring performers, it demonstrates that talent alone is insufficient. Asserting personal boundaries, understanding contractual obligations, and advocating for creative rights are equally essential for a sustainable career. For audiences, her journey serves as a reminder that the performances they admire The smiles on television and the viral moments often conceal intense emotional labor, exhaustion, and unseen struggles. Darci's ability to reclaim her voice, stepping away from fame-driven pressures to focus on authentic artistic expression, offers a blueprint for resilience, showing that self-respect, integrity, and emotional health should never be sacrificed for public approval or fleeting recognition. Moreover, her lawsuit has contributed to a broader cultural shift in how viewers, media, and industry professionals think about accountability. By confronting a powerful figure within one of the world's most popular talent shows, she highlighted that no amount of fame, ratings, or influence should excuse the mistreatment of young performers. Her courage inspired others to share their experiences, question authority, and advocate for healthier environments in entertainment, creating a ripple effect that extends far beyond her personal story. Public reception to her journey reflects a complex mix of admiration, criticism, and reflection. While some question whether she owed loyalty to the platform that launched her career, many more recognize the bravery it takes to challenge entrenched power structures, particularly as a young adult. Darci's transition from child prodigy to self-advocating artist underscores the challenges inherent in growing up in the public eye, illustrating the delicate balance between external success and internal well-being. Her return to anime performances, stripped of puppets and commercial spectacle, emphasizes that true artistry is not about perfection or mass appeal, but about authenticity, vulnerability, and connection with one's audience. In doing so, Darci has redefined what it means to succeed as a young performer. It is not merely about applause, viral fame, or televised accolades, but about cultivating a voice that is both genuine and unafraid. Ultimately, Darci Lynne Farmer's legacy is twofold. She is a beacon of hope for young artists navigating the pressures of fame,